Welcome to Patriarchy.com, where we help you become a more virtuous leader for your family. I'm Knowland, and on this channel, Daily Patriarchy, I answer all your questions in the comments every day in video form. I also document our progress towards rebuilding the patriarchy one family at a time to strengthen society. So let's get into today's comments. But quickly, before we do that, an update on the channel. Thanks for your support. We're now on 492 subscribers after a week. Please subscribe, share the content with anybody you think might benefit from this. You can also check out my main channel here, Will Knowland at Be Her Leader, currently 18.1 subs for more long-form content on specific areas of your marriage you'd like to improve. So today's comments then, I'll scroll down to the bottom of all the ones I haven't responded to yet, and we'll work our way back up to the top. Steph says, what if you have been waiting for your husband? He said it's just not the time. And this is on the video about how there are no excuses for not maintaining romance. So the man should be putting the effort in to create these conditions for romance, and he should be the one who is really leading it. If he's not doing that, let him know how it makes you feel. Tell him that you don't find that this is sexy behavior from him and you think it's going to have damaging consequences for your marriage overall. It's really important to be open and honest about this. Otherwise, you're likely to just bottle it up and get resentful, and it's going to be problems later on. So tell him what you would need from him to have these needs met for you. Good question. A lot of people struggle with that. Barry asks, thoughts on wife-girlfriend playing soccer, rugby as a social event. Find it can be quite physical and rough. Am I over-exaggerating? Well, thoughts isn't really a question, so let's try and get more specific. It sounds like you were asking, is it okay for a woman to play soccer or rugby? And of course, as a Catholic, I'm going to say, yes, it is. The church does not have any kind of rule against women playing in those sports. So really, this just comes down to what your own fears about that are. It's women's sport, so how physical and rough can it actually get? Not very. Omaha Mummy says, thank you for addressing my question. Just confirm my suspicions. I will focus more on prayer for his view on this topic to change, if it is God's will. Just an FYI, we were in this setup before our reconversion. So he was injured years before we even thought this was any kind of a problem. And that is in relation to a question before about what to do if a husband can't work due to an injury in the manual labor job that he used to do, but he doesn't really feel like his temperament suits an office job. And I was saying that it shouldn't really be about his temperament. He should just retrain, get a new job to provide for his family. Yeah, praying for him is definitely a sensible thing to do. Sorry about the injury again, but sometimes you just have to adapt. That is an important point, though, the importance of praying for each other as husband and wife. Sometimes that's neglected, but it really is the most important thing you can do. Barry asks, any upcoming CMASC podcasts? Yeah, we'll be returning to doing some of those. Just need to find times when everyone is free, but people are busy, so sometimes it's difficult. Barry also asks, did you play any sports growing up? What do you think is better for child development, team or individual sports? Yeah, I played the normal range of sports growing up, like most kids, and I'm not sure whether team or individual sports are better. It depends on the child and the way in which he needs to develop. So this is something I'd look into with guys who are fathers, thinking about how to raise their sons in a way that suits what the kids need. I'd need more information to be able to answer a question like that. Both can be good. All right, let's keep going up the list. I met a girl who lives about 1 hour away. There's a lot more stuff to do in my area. Would it be prudent to have her drive to my area sometimes for dates, or should I always be the one picking her up and driving her back to my area? Seems better to not have her be driving, but also can be a huge time waste and will cut down on the time we actually get to spend together. So again, this is one of those questions where you haven't really clarified for yourself what it is that you're worried about. So you say it seems better to not have her be driving. Why do you think that? She is legally allowed to drive. She's a competent driver. So why do you think it's better not to have her be driving? Think about why that is, and let's think about whether that is actually true or not. But there's no rule that women can't drive to dates. Not sure where you would have got that from. So with this question, I think you need to put a bit more effort into thinking about what it is that's actually bothering you about the idea of her driving. So Chatty T again asks, curious how you would handle disobedience in a non-marriage relationship. If, for example, you tell your girlfriend you don't want her to be on social media, but she stays on it anyways. If you've made it very clear that's what you want and discuss it, but she still refuses to agree, what should you do? Should you immediately break up if she crosses a boundary? Or is there a better way to negatively reinforce this behavior? How would a situation like this look in a married relationship, since divorce is obviously not an option? Well, there is no obedience in a non-marriage relationship. You don't have any authority over her whatsoever. So it's kind of weird that you would be putting these rules in place like no social media, expecting her to follow what you say when she doesn't have to. So the framing of the question, the assumptions you got, these are odd. And then even within marriage, why would you want to ban social media for your wife? What if she's using it to connect to her friends, etc.? It just seems an odd thing to want to do. So I would be looking at why these questions are in your mind. Think about why you want to control someone in this way, how that might come across to someone. It's just worth thinking about. Social media can be good for all kinds of things. If you've got a specific worry about social media, then that's different. Talk about that. But yeah, don't go expecting obedience in a non-marriage relationship. And don't go expecting total obedience in every single aspect of life, down to micromanaging small little details, even in marriage either, because most people don't want to be treated like that, men or women. It's not respectful of their liberty or their dignity either. Cars, Guns, and Weight says, I know for a fact you will be at 100K followers this time next year. You are filling a gap needed for men. Appreciate you watching. Thanks for the kind words. That's what this channel is about. I don't think that there are many places where men can talk about these things and get advice on this. So that's what the aim is. And if you guys want to subscribe, share to support the project, then come along for the ride. Keep the questions coming in. Seraphina says, what a great compliment. Yes. Cars, Guns, and Weights again. Brother, keep up the good work. If I wasn't in the army as an officer, I would have started a channel like this a long time ago. But I would rather take a back seat and support those doing the work. God bless Will. Thank you. Bruce says, go to Joseph. Yes, exactly. Important. If you're looking for a model, an example of how to be a husband and a father, go to Joseph. Check that video out from yesterday if you haven't looked at it yet. Radiant Blue says, learned a lot I hadn't previously known. Please make more videos of this nature. 23-year-old male and have been consuming your content on school, Twitter, CMask, and Instagram. I strive to be the father that my father wasn't. Either I will fall into his same vices or succeed. Perhaps this all will be an idealistic fool's errand, but nonetheless, I'll try. It's definitely important to try, and you will fall into vices of various sorts, maybe the same as him, maybe your own, but that's okay because you can just get back up and keep going again. The whole of life is always going to be a fight against vices, and you just have to accept that. That is the reality of original sin, and having that fighting spirit of being able to make progress, not just despite that, but almost because of it, because the temptations, the struggles are the things that expose your weaknesses and give you something to fight against with God's grace, is a more masculine attitude to have than thinking, unless this is perfect, there's no point even trying. So thanks for following along. Keep the questions coming. Let's have a quick update as well now on the community, patriarchy.com, over on school, where you guys can join if you're interested in discussing some of these ideas in a bit more depth, whether you're a young man preparing for marriage, whether you are a guy who is married for 20 years with 8 kids, don't worry. The place is good for both kinds of men. So we have here 252 members currently. It's great value, only $9 a month. some of the benefits: mastermind calls with me every week to help keep you on track, courses on various aspects you might like to improve as a leader. And you've also got other guys like-minded who are pursuing the same goals as you to help you along the way. So if you want that 24/7 support, you want more depth, head over there, patriarchy.com/start, and then we'll be happy to have you. All right. Thanks for the support, everybody. Questions in the comments for tomorrow's video, and I will see you then.